Just letting you know this is only my spoiler first impressions of the episode. Check my pinned comment for a free gift related to this video. And to watch my unfiltered reactions with exclusive bonuses, join my Asha Media TV Club. The link is in the description box below. Now, here's my afterthoughts of this episode of Fringe.
So are we doing a switcheroo now? Before it was Peter that had to die, and now it's Olivia. Is that what's going on? It's rhetorical, but I know I say it like it's not. Holy moly! Okay, well, episode 8. Lots more to go. Wow, this episode had a lot going for it. I'll leave the breakdowns or whatever summaries you want to do, my dear viewer. I'm getting used to just chilling and trying my best to not overthink it. Okay. First off, I'm just going to quickly address for the viewers that may be very disappointed when a surprise you're anticipating to see doesn't pan out because I saw the credits. It's going to happen if I recognize the name. And if it doesn't happen, thank goodness, but I also want to be transparent because I know for myself, I mean, I'm not going to say names, but I know of a couple of reactors that very much know a certain person's going to be in the episode because, I don't know, maybe that's just me not being believing of things, but more or less, I know I could have just pretended like I didn't see it and then wait till it comes up and then oh my God, that's disingenuous. That's just not authentic. And if I'm reacting truthfully as I'm watching the scenes, I'm not going to fake that to give you a surprise that isn't real. And I don't want to imply that's always the case because I'm sure there are reactors that are genuinely surprised and maybe they have, worked out a strategy that I perhaps should learn to do to not look at the credits. And I normally don't if it's a name that I don't really pick up on or recognize too often. But Jared Harris? No. Anyway, the whole point of it is it can happen, so anticipate the possibility of it, especially if it's an actor that I'm familiar with from other properties I'm reacting to or have reacted to recently in the year and a half span of my whole reaction journey here. Okay? So I'm sorry, but not sorry. It's just kind of is what it is. And I hope you can at least appreciate me being truthful and open about every step of the way of me reacting to these episodes. That's the best I could do. So with that subject on the topic, it's clear then, I'm just going to go back to that scene right at the end where we see, not the September part, I'll get to that, but the part where we saw all those, I think they're supposed to be shapeshifters in the tanks. And then let me just go back to the scene where we do see Mr. Jones and he's working on something and his face is looks sunburned. Is he out in the sun? Okay, either way, the biggest surprise out of this one is the fact that he's communicating with Broyles like they're in on it with each other. Perhaps this time around, this Mr. Jones may not be the enemy. Maybe there's a, it's kind of like a surface thing, but really there's going to be a reasoning behind it that will be a good thing. I guess because I have a hard time believing that this Broyles would be on the wrong side of things, like be working with the enemy. Let's move on. Yes, this part here was great. The suspense and the thrill of it, of Walternate figuring out Brandon was a shapeshifter, that was awesome. That was probably the most surprising factor in this episode for sure. And the whole thing I was babbling about in previous reactions about the setup of shapeshifters taking or infiltrating government. And I'm like, okay, this was like a mole pretty much for his side. I think it's fair to conclude then the mole aspect of a shapeshifter would be on the other side too. And that's what I thought they were setting up. And I guess that's what they are setting up. And then this is kind of like proof of it being the case. Now that Peter likely will join the fight. This is really frustrating and cool at the same time. Frustrating for me, just trying to wrap my head around it, and yet I still don't think I know barely anything. And that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. I'm getting used to trying to go with it here as much as I can. All right. Okay. So I'm not trying to belittle this point that I'm going to bring up, that I'm sure some of you probably rolled your eyes at my reaction, and I don't really care if you did or didn't, but the part where Peter's mom, I knew it was you, looked into your eyes. And yes, if it's your child, I mean, I'm not a parent, so I can't speak as one. But I guess it was just a little, I don't know what the right word to put it as, to have her just immediately recognize it was Peter, looked into his eyes. She figured that was the grown-up version of the face of the child version. And it's been so many years. So the show saying that only a mother, that's what I'm getting. That's the only other conclusion. You're more than welcome to word it some other way. But because it's his mom, She's like, I know, that's my baby. That's my baby boy. You know what? I'll leave it. It's the moment that was needed for Peter and for the story of this version of his mom that's lost her version of her Peter. So be it. And she has this solace. I'll take it. I'm just going to lean in with the positive of it. The solace of seeing the possible Peter that could have been if that was her Peter. All right. Let me move on. Another scene. All right. What other scenes were really cool? Oh, of course, Lincoln and Lincoln. Yeah. Lincoln and Lincoln. So yeah, Red versus Lincoln. Pretty much everybody from that universe have more swagger. Like that's just the only way I could put it in simple terms. And everybody else from the Prime verse, they're more messed up. They have a little less confidence, and because you put them side by side, kind of in a lineup situation. It's pretty fascinating to see that essentially the Red verse people just has more. They have more. I don't know what's the right term, but they got more going for them on that level. Doesn't mean they're better, just different. And for performance wise, it makes it, I think, easier for the actors to give off more of their version of the actual character. It's spectrums, really. Okay, that was fun. And how they got Peter there impersonating that Lincoln, and the setup in episode 1 with the handprint and all that. It was good. Very nicely tied. Okay, so before I hit on my 2 cents with Olivia and the Observer, I guess really Walternate and Peter joining forces amicably and sincerely. I want to believe it's sincere. This is an honest exchange between the two. That was cool. If anything, what makes it so awesome is the fact that they explained very clearly, with that beautiful monologue that John Noble just nailed, of course, wonderfully. They explained it very clearly why our Walter could not be that Walter for him. Oh, that's a very rewatchable moment. And having that quick pause in the mirror for Peter to pick up on the fact he has to go to Walternate, that was just brilliant. And then to tie into this final act with Walternate partnering up with him, so to speak, admitting to him that Peter's the only person he can trust at this point, with all things given, that he doesn't know who's who. That's pretty crazy. All right, let's head on over for what I can. I mean, there's only so much I could say except for OMG. September shot. Was he time hopping and he got caught somewhere and then got shot? I guess he time hopped to a point where he sees that conclusion of Olivia having to die, and then came back to then warn this Olivia about it, and somehow this timeline is going to, or this Olivia, it's getting used to this whole fact that this is a third version of an Olivia. And I think I was getting mixed up with thinking that the erasure of Peter was still with these two universes, but essentially this is a third version, separate, different. And the biggest clue of that, Biggest clue of that is the intros. Yeah. Yeah. The blue, the red, the yellow. Third world. Okay. Wow. That took me a minute, eh? Okay. All right. So something this Olivia has to do to save. Huh. All right. I'm going to give myself a headache unnecessarily. Shocking moment. September shot. I don't know where he went now. Now this Olivia is aware of the observers or observer, and then she'll probably go and report it. And this is how they may start to look into figuring out the observers like they did in season 1 when Boyle showed her all those photos. So will they have something like that? Oh boy. I've yet to see. So there you have it. All right, people. There you have it. That's my reaction, my afterthoughts about this episode. It's a lot of stuff. I'm just going to ease up, wait for whatever breakdowns that are non-spoiler nature to then move on forward with the next batch of episodes to watch for the upcoming week. Ashamoji. I was going to say 4.5, but I don't have a reason for what's tugging at me to not give it a 5. So it gets a 5. If I can't figure out a reason or if I don't feel that tug, sometimes I'll just have a feeling where I'm just like, 5 doesn't seem right. But 5 is fine. 5 is fine because it was awesome from beginning to end. Indeed. Very confusing, but awesome. Officially, there you have it. My afterthoughts about episode 8 from the 4th season of Fringe. And if you want access to my full reaction to this episode, uncut, unfiltered, with extra paused commentary and other bonuses I share only with my members, as well as early access, okay, keep in mind, what you're seeing right now on YouTube, I'm ahead of the game at my club, so if you want to tune into that, details on joining my membership club is in the description box below. All right, people, I will see you for episode 9. Peace out. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe and check out my other videos.